Hey all, another quick repair tip here for these older Chevy CK trucks. This is a 1991 light duty 3/4 ton. So all this is the same as the half ton up here. So the other day I was driving on the freeway and my driver's side windshield wiper all of a sudden just flipped off my windshield and was flapping against my passenger driver's side window over here on the side of the cab. And what happened was the linkage had come disconnected. So if you have to get to the linkage underneath the windshield wiper linkage here, I'm just going to show you some quick tips. There are 7 total screws. 2 of them you have to do underneath the truck or underneath the hood. There's this one here that's underneath the hood, just to give you some perspective of where we're at here. Underneath the hood. And then there's 5 that you do with the hood closed. All right, there's one right here, right by the corner. Then there's a number of them that are spaced out. You have to kind of climb up on your hood almost and get down to them. There's 2. There's one right before the next windshield wiper connection. And there's a couple more on that side. So another tip is to realize that this end piece, these last like 5 inches, this is a separate... Sorry, the light's bad here. This is a separate piece of this grill. And you pop this out with the hood closed. There's just a little tab here that hooks it into the middle part. And that screw you took out, these come out on each end. And just set those aside. How do you get the windshield wiper off? It's pretty simple actually. There's just a simple little tab. There's a lipped edge here that you can see when these are on your truck, and you just pop this out. And it doesn't really pop that well. I had to take a screwdriver and kind of bang and pry on them. But you slide that over, and that moves this little piece of metal out of a groove in the mounting stud. And you can then these just lift off. You just lift these off. All right. So once you've got the all 7 screws out and the windshield wipers off, you can just finagle this whole thing up and out of here. And I do it with the hood open and then slide it under the hood. I know you can't really see what I was doing there, but I slid it from with the hood open. I just finagled it up onto the windshield out of the way. I've left the windshield wiper spray hoses connected. You can disconnect those right here at this Y intersection. It's easy to put back together. But in any case, here's what you got underneath here. So I'm gonna flip my phone around. Yeah, this isn't gonna be good. Hold on. Let's see if we can see. There you go. So sorry for the blurriness here. But you've got a ball, just like your hip joint. You got a ball that's connected to the passenger side windshield wiper arm and the motor. And then the socket side that you see is what's connected to the driver's side. All right, let's see if I can just make sure I point this out correctly. This socket where my finger's pointing right there, that's the driver's side. See these 2 screws right here? You loosen those up, and this entire socket part you can just lift off. It's made out of brass because it's a brass bushing basically, because it rotates on that ball, so it's brass. And in my case, it just had gotten so worn that with a combination of the wind from my driving speed on the freeway and the wind gusting from the rain was just right, that it just popped off. So it just dislocated the entire driver's side wiper arm from the mechanism. Here's what I did. You take off these 2 nuts, this one here, take out the whole, you'll see it'll make sense to you. You can just lift off these 2 halves of the ball, or the socket, the socket side here. It's 2 halves that clamp together to make the socket. You just lift them off, take them over to your workbench, and take a chisel a flat edge chisel, and there's a groove right on the opening end of this ball, this socket, the socket side. And I just put my chisel on that little groove. You can barely see it on the opening edge, like right there. And I just carefully knocked with a hammer a couple times. So it kind of bent down the lip of the socket so that it can't pop off the ball so easy. And then I've reinstalled it. Now there's some adjustability in here to make sure that your wiper doesn't go off your windshield and everything, right? So I would recommend snugging it up, just setting the wiper arm back on the stud, and then running your windshield wipers just to make sure that they aren't misadjusted. And then once you confirm they aren't your wiper isn't misadjusted, tighten these two nuts back down. And in my case now, I can't. This is on good. I can't like lift this off. You can see I'm wiggling it here, but it's not coming off. So then you just go back, put this cowl back in place, slide it under the hood, put your 5 screws from the outside in, and put the 2 under the hood, and you're back in business. All right. Good luck. Enjoy.